you ready to kickstart your week with some dirt slinging and tire slaying action motorsports radio that packs the biggest gas?
Hi, Ken Block here.
Hey, my name's Jolene Van Butte.
What's up, Brian Deegan here.
Vaughn Ginn Jr. here.
They've been thrown into one show that has broken down the barriers of what a motorsports radio show should be. This is the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor, with support from General Tire, KMC Wheels, Dirtfish, Gibson Exhaust, and MTX Audio, with your host, who also happens to spend his weekends flying 800 horsepower trucks through the dirt, Jim Beaver.
When was the last time you saw an off-road or rally driver begging to get behind the wheel of a NASCAR IndyCar? Yep, not happening, but you sure see these pavement racers begging to drive our cars.
And his partner in crime every week, a self-proclaimed Canadian moto chick who was jumping triples and taking podiums before most guys even learned to ride, Amy Hood.
No one knows how to say my last name. Like, is it really that hard? Amy Hood, like I'm from the hood. Don't get it twisted.
Sit back, strap in, and be prepared to join us as we take you through a motorsports ride like no other. Here is the man who carries a steering wheel in one hand and a mic in the other, Jim Beaver.
Welcome to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. Another week, another Down and Dirty Radio Show. We got a fun one today, Hood. We've got my good friend and General Tire teammate, Jerry Zaiden, on the line. We haven't talked to him since maybe the Mint 400. And, and then Ronnie Faisst. Oh, man, he is always boatloads of fun. FMX X Games legend. He's heading up to Minnesota for this X Games snow bike qualifier. He didn't get the anointed, go all the way to X Games, I guess the fast pass, right? He's got to work his way in, so it's going to be fun to catch up with him and chat all things X Games and that qualifier. And stepping out of his box a bit into the snow bike is going to be kind of fun.
Yeah, I just hope he brought a parka and some long johns for sure. It's a cold one up here in Winnipeg, so I'm pretty sure they'll trickle down to Minnesota.
Oh, man, you guys are getting pounded. I got some family in Minnesota. They were just saying, they're like, you're coming up this Friday. They're like, yeah, bring some warm clothes. It's definitely going to be a snowy one, but I think the way these snow bikes work, that's going to be a good thing. But we've got that. Amy and I, we got a lot to talk about today here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Don't forget, hit us up. You got any questions for any of our guests? At JimBeaver15, at AmyHood71 on Twitter. And we'll be back after this short commercial break.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. R.J. is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. It's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim B. Ramey Hood here, and we're already getting pinged with questions for Jerry Zaiden. I like it that quick. Bam, we got questions, Hood. So at least one of them. So I don't know. At least somebody's listening to us. We got somebody out there listening. I don't know.
That's a good thing.
Yeah. No, speaking of listening, got to give my regular plug to my new podcast, Project Action, over on Podcast One. Please go to iTunes, subscribe, rate, and review. I had an awesome lost episode of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. It was like an hour plus long. I aired last week with Cameron Steele, Jim Riley, and my friend TJ Flores. And it was good stuff. So I don't know. Next week, I think both on this and on the podcast, we're going to have Travis Pastrana. I know it was supposed to be our anniversary show this week. It got pushed back a week. I was texting with Travis over the weekend, and he got called to Texas. So so we're pushing back. I think we're going to have Ryan Turk next week as well, one of the biggest names in drifting. And we got, I don't know, it's going to be fun. So, 5 years down, Hood. I don't know. You've been a part of it for I don't know. I need to pull over 2 years now, right?
Yeah, when's our anniversary?
I think that might have passed in I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to have to look in. I know it's been over 2 years. The first time you ever came on, I think, was in October of 14, maybe. I think you've been on the payroll maybe like a year and a half now. I don't know. I'm going to have to pull I'm going to have to figure that out. But you've been I don't know. I start thinking about it, and it's like I really, I'm thinking back, I can't remember the show without you. You know what I mean? It's like you've been a huge chunk of time now. It's like a couple years you're invested into this deal.
Yep, I'd like to think I'm, just part of the family now.
Yeah, that's it. It's it's the truth. It's just I don't know. It's I don't know. I couldn't imagine it without you now. So don't go and get some contract where you got to work on Tuesdays. It doesn't work for me.
No, don't worry. I'll always make room for that in my schedule.
Yeah. So no, seriously though, I did want to talk a bit because I know we talked about that. And I get a lot of people asking me all the time, and I actually got hit up to do I don't know, possibly do some speaking here at a graduation. I know you did that last year, and it's I look back 5 years. We're talking the end of 2011. This kind of pipe dream happened in the middle of 2011 for me, and then and then I started doing something in December of 2011. I seriously didn't know what the heck I was getting into, and I've said this before, but a lot of people are like, "Oh, how did you make it?" Back then, I had a couple of product sponsors, nothing monetarily. I was racing a trophy truck a couple times a year, but it wasn't full time. I didn't have a Facebook account. Instagram wasn't even thought of at that point, and I had maybe 500 Twitter followers. But seriously, I just started, and this was at the beginning of online radio podcasting. I'm not saying people need to do that or start a YouTube channel, but seriously, I just started doing something, and I just kept at it and kept at it and kept chipping away and chipping away and chipping away. And now I'm actually able to announce, because it's signed, but Polaris signed on to the show for another 3 years. That's 3 freaking years. That's amazing, So I got to give a shout out to Polaris, but I know we're going to be on air for at least 3 more years, but to have a company invest, that kind of money to be the title sponsor of a show for 3 years, that's pretty amazing. We don't have a press release or anything out yet, but Like, I don't know, like I'm just telling people out there, like, seriously, you know, things don't happen overnight. Chip away. You just got to keep your head down. And it's like with anything, you know, you talk about going to the gym and people want to make a, you know, change in their body because they're 50 pounds overweight. Well, you're not going to lose that 50 pounds in a week. You know, it's just, you got to chip away at it and just keep going and pushing. You know, it's the only way something's going to happen.
Exactly. And sometimes you just never even know where you're going to end up. Like, you have this one goal in mind, and that continuous path of pushing towards that goal opens so many other doors. And I mean, example of me, you know, I always wanted to be a professional motocross racer, wanted to accomplish all these goals, and, you know, working towards that led me into the direction of Monster Jam. And it just, you know, there's endless opportunities and possibilities when you're just very persistent and goal driven, and it pays off. So.
Yeah, well, and that's the truth. Like, even the show, you got to be able to adapt to change. Like, we started out, this was like a little online off-road desert racing only show, and immediately, like, then we expanded to rally and this and that, you know, but you've got to be able to morph, you know what I mean? You can't be completely set and stuck in your ways, or nothing's ever going to happen, you know? You got to be kind of fluid and open to changes and different challenges and things like that. And I think this actually ties in well with our first guest, Jerry Zaiden, who's going to be calling in, because like, literally, I've known of Jerry for a long time. I think we've been friends for maybe 6 years now. But he's got one of the biggest businesses in off-road. He's got a trophy truck program. He's got all these corporate sponsors. His shop's one of the biggest off-road shops in the country. He sells internationally. You know, they got a social media following of millions. Literally, I think their Facebook page has over 2 million fans. But he started this out when he was like 16 in his parents' garage with a little welder making bumpers. Mm-hmm. So it's not like he was silver spoon fed. Like, literally, this is a guy who him and his business partner started welding bumpers in their parents' garage with an old welder, and now he's got this massive company 15 years later. You know, but it's same thing. You know, you just gotta keep at it.
Exactly. That's really cool. I'm really interested to talk to him. But yeah, it just goes to show perseverance. Proves all. Everybody wrong. It's a pretty cool thing. And that's the thing. A lot of people don't have it in them. Like, once they hit a roadblock, fail once, fail twice. I mean, over here, I've probably failed over hundreds of times, just random stuff. But a lot of people just get discouraged, and a lot of people aren't too hard on themselves or care what other people think, where, you know, at the end of the day, you just got to go forth with your dreams with your ears closed and your eyes forward. Just, you know, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks, and it doesn't matter, you know, anybody else's opinion of what your goal or dream is.
Yeah.
I can preach about that stuff forever. So, I mean, that's like a whole podcast about dream chasing and whatnot. So I'm trying not to get too in-depth in there, because I could ramble for days.
Yeah. Well, it's a truth, though, and, you know, it all ties back in. You know, it's you know, just get people asking, you know, how this thing, you know, got to where it's at. And, you know, it was a little bit of right place at the right time, and a little bit of, you know, never say die and not quitting. So, you know, it's the same with anything. You want to go to the Olympics, you know, you don't become an Olympic gymnast overnight. You know, those girls put in 15 years of work before they're actually there, you know, so.
Exactly. And, you know, in saying that, it's funny, because still so many people these days, especially from my hometown, like to think that all of these opportunities that just, you know, are in that opportunity tree in my backyard, and I can just go pick them whenever I feel like eating something, like some delicious hanging fruit. Like honestly, well, the opportunity tree in my backyard died, and now it is extinct and no longer exists. Okay, people, like, things don't fall from the sky. Opportunities do not get handed to you on a silver platter. It takes hard work, dedication, and usually things you don't see on Instagram and Facebook. All of these hard works and blood, sweat, and tears happen behind closed doors. So before you go and judge someone else's, you know, situation they got going on, and, you know, accuse or speculate, you know 1/3 of the story, and everything else and all the hard work that it takes people to get to where they're going is usually done behind the scenes.
Yeah, I always just thought you were a cute girl and people just threw millions of dollars at you.
Totally, that's exactly how it works.
That's what I thought. Like, this is all news to me, Hood. I just thought, she's Amy Hood, you know?
Mm-hmm.
No, I seriously think that's the way some people think, though, and that's it's a sad thing, you know? But, yeah, anyways, it's been a good, fun 5 years. I can promise you guys we'll be here for at least another 3. We got to get Amy under contract for the next 3. I guess that's now that I know I'm going to be around for 3 years. I guess we got to get Hood under contract for another 3 years so you could be here along with her the ride with me. But yeah, definitely good times. I found out some good information on next year on some possible stuff with the show. So I know you guys have been hearing or been asking a lot about Sirius XM. Sounds like it may actually happen in 2017, so keep your fingers crossed. It sounds like it's going to possibly happen, though, so it's definitely fun if and when it does. But we're going to take a short break. When we come back, we got Jerry Zaiden from Camburg on the line, my General Tire teammate. Going to be a lot of fun to catch up with him. Got a lot to talk about. We already got a question, dropping in, but anybody else with questions, it's at JimBeaver15, at AmyHood71. We'll get them asked to Jerry after this. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Are you looking for a place to push yourself behind the wheel and see how your driving skills stack up? Dirtfish Rally School is that place. Located on 315 acres of pristine automotive playground at the foot of the Cascade Mountains in Snoqualmie, Washington, right outside of Seattle, Dirtfish Rally School is a one-of-a-kind place where everyone from first-time drivers to seasoned professionals like Bucky Lassick and Antoine Lestage can push themselves to their limit. Whether driving the high-performance, rally-prepped all-wheel drive Subaru Impreza STI is what you're looking for, or you'd rather hang it all out in the rear-wheel drive Subaru BRZ, Dirtfish Rally School has something for everyone. Classes are available from 2 hours to 3 full days and feature instructors with over 150 years of combined racing experience. Whether you're looking to become the best and get an edge on the competition, or just looking to freshen your skills behind the wheel, Dirtfish Rally School is the place to go. For more information on registering for classes, visit Dirtfish on the web at dirtfish.com, or to check out the latest happenings from Dirtfish, follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dirtfish Rally.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268-horsepower, turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305-horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood holding it down. I'd like to welcome Jerry Zaiden from Camburg, my General Tire teammate, to the line. How's everything going, Jerry?
What's going on, guys? Everything's going great.
It's going
Awesome.
Going well, man. I know. I'm trying to think of the last time, Amy and I were trying to think about the last time we had you on air. It might have been, the Mint 400? Like, you and I talk on the phone, probably once a month, but I can't remember the last time I actually had you on air. Had to have been right around Mint time, huh?
Yeah, I think it was at the Mint 400 right there on Fremont Street.
Yeah, dang, it's been too darn long, buddy. But you guys have had a lot of stuff pop up.
Oh, yeah, it's been a little crazy over here, that's for sure.
Yeah. So before we get into that, I got to ask you, because Amy and I were talking about, because this is right around December's kind of like the anniversary month of the show, and we're right at 5 years, that we've been on air, right? And we're talking about, it's one of those things where it didn't come easy, and it still doesn't come easy. But I was telling her, in the segment before, like, I just kept at it and grinding and got to where we're at. But I told her, I said, you've got an awesome story with your business partner, Jason, that Camburg, you guys literally started that out in your parents' garage, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy because we're coming up on that anniversary as well. This February, it'll be 20 years we started this company, 20 years ago. And, Jason and I, we went to middle school and high school together, and never forget, like, the off-road spot here in Huntington Beach was the oil fields, which is now, multi-million-dollar homes, with ocean views. But that was the big dirt lot. We always used to drive through the mud and jump stuff and, horse trails and all that stuff. And it was a fireworks 250 race we went out to, and we were just hooked. It was something we just had to always go to, and started building our own products on the trucks, and that got me, parents' garage sub-paneled with some welding equipment, and just kind of did it from there.
Yeah. Well, and it's one of those things, too, I know with me, like, it was, kind of, like, it was a little bit of the right place at the right time, too. And I think, when you guys were first doing it, I mean, now, like, there's a fab shop. I don't want to say on every corner in Southern California, but, dude, these things spring up, like, all over the place. But when you guys first started out, I mean, there really wasn't a lot of players in the game, right? You guys came out and, and you were making some really good product, and it really kind of took off, right?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, there were, guys out there. I mean, I remember Fab Tech, you could go there. They had the ad in the recycler. This is pre-Craigslist.
Yeah.
And, they had to do the body lift for $189, and, they built kind of these, like, fancy show trucks and did all these big lift kits. And they also, did a lot of the pre-runner stuff. We had Downey Off-Road. Was one of the guys out there with the Toyotas.
AutoFab, right?
Yeah, AutoFab was another one. And, when we looked at it, we're like, these guys make cool product and it gets on your truck. But we really wanted the real, down and dirty, real race stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like it needed to be legit. And when we launched Camburg, everything went to a Heim joint pivot on a radius arm and a new I-beam from scratch, or a long travel kit for your Toyota. And these were things that you only saw on a race truck. And these were the things that were all custom built by the certain fab shops out there, right? So, there are a bunch of shops out there doing that stuff. But everyone was either full-blown custom and, there's no money in off-road suspension, basically.
Yeah.
There's only money in lift kits, right? So we just saw our niche and powered forward. And, within 3 years, I think we're a pretty good staple name in the race world, because I think our first year out of the box, we had our suspension on trucks winning races and championships, which was really cool to see.
Yeah. Well, and I know, with you guys, one thing that I've always, and it's one thing I really like to pick your brain about, anytime we're on, just chatting and stuff like that. But like, you guys, like, you've always had a really good vision for new forms of media and things like that. I mean, because we're talking back, like, you were one of the first companies there with a full-blown website. And like you've told me, you're like, back in the day, your website was social media. You were you were one of the first guys that was on the Race Desert forums. And, you look at your social media following now on Facebook and Instagram and the other stuff. And, Facebook, you got one of the largest, if not the largest following in off-road. And it's because you were literally one of the first there.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I've had this conversation a few times, but back in the day, it was in 97, we had a website. I don't even think there were that many websites out there, right? And it was very easy HTML-based site. And I remember buying a Sony Mavica M91 camera, and it was the better camera. It was like, I don't know, a couple grand, $1,800, whatever this thing was. Had a big zoom lens on it. It was really slow, and it took a floppy disk in the side of it.
Oh, my
and I remember
camera.
Yeah, so I mean, Google that thing. It's pretty hilarious. I wish I kept it. It'd be like having an original like Apple computer sitting there on a shelf, right? But I mean, you think of a floppy disk, what are those, like 1.4 megabytes, right? And I could shoot like 20, 30 pictures on this thing. So it was like a 600 pixel wide picture, but it was easy because I didn't have to develop the film and scan it to then put it into the computer. I just stuck the disk in the computer and there's my picture. And that I thought was very cool. So we did, a lot of news, like, we'd always update the website. Like, we'd just go out there, and Klaus from RaceDesert.com, the guy who started the website at the time, was involved with someone else with the page called ExtremeOffroad.com. And Klaus and his other German buddy, Paul, and myself, we'd go to the races and be shooting pictures and posting pictures. We'd put them on Camburg, and then he started Race Desert, and I contributed photos to there to just basically build our sport up to the masses. And it was a lot of fun. Those were the days where, like, we were really telling a story that a lot of people haven't seen or heard.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, and then in came social media, and everything's just kind of gone nuts ever since. But
that's really cool. I mean, it just goes to show that, this industry itself is so saturated that you got to kind of take almost extreme measures or extremely different measures to stand out, and so really that actually allowed you to push you to the to the front of the pack, being kind of the first mover advantage, where you're doing all this stuff that no one else is doing yet. So all these people and all the fans and customers really rely on you for their either source of information, or they can just go to your site and always expect new up-to-date content, and that just really kind of sets the tone for your career going forward, if you can, keep the train moving, if you will.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, when you look at our shop, we have so many different cool things going on. We have a CNC machine shop, so we're, got the CNC machine people out there following us, and we have the welding shop, and, Miller Electric's been a huge supporter. They do all their big, not all of them, but a big push of their DIY welding, like how-to videos. They come here and film once or twice a year, and so we do a lot of cool stuff with them. So we reach a lot of different audiences, and when you look at the trophy trucks we're building and the type of welding and machining, and it's like the it of that type of product being manufactured. Where, I mean, trophy trucks, like if you really think about it, at one time, not that long ago, there were only like 20 of them in existence. And now I think if you had to count, there's still probably less than 100 legitimate trophy trucks out there. And, biggest field at a race, I think we'll see like 60 or 70 at the Parker 425 or the Mint 400. So it's not like, they're on every corner. They're very sought after, and people love watching the videos and looking at the pictures. And I think even to this day, like, I could walk in the back of the shop, and one of the latest things I just got was from DJI. It's called the Osmo. It holds the iPhone steady. And now we go live on Facebook, and we have almost 2 million followers on there. And I'll do a video. I was at SEMA showing off the new Toyota Tacoma that I'm going to race, the Mint 400. And I just held the camera, and I was talking behind it. Or not the camera, but my phone, right? So just talking, I'm going live, and the thing's just blowing up, and we had like 55,000 views in about 20 minutes. And if you think about it, that's like a cable television show. But I'm doing it live.
Yeah, that's insane. And on your iPhone.
And on your iPhone. Not connected to Wi-Fi or anything. It's just through the air, the
really
data.
Crazy. I mean, people really adopted, a lot of people are scared to adopt technology, and they're scared to kind of, dive into Instagram and dive into like Facebook Lives and Snapchat. I mean, I'm anti-Snapchat, but I need to, and I know I need to. You have to keep up with, the digital evolution to be able to stay relevant in the game. And it's kind of weird that way, because, you think best products or best athlete, they would be the most relevant, but it's really the people who adopted the social trends and stay ahead of the game that really have a longevity in this industry.
Yeah, well, to me it's crazy too. It's like Facebook now with live and everything else and video, like the way the logarithm works. Like you see people, and for the longest time it was like, oh man, I just got 5,000 views on my YouTube video. That's awesome. And I'm like, I can throw something up on my Facebook page and within a day have 5,000 views. It's like, it's almost like, it's pretty much put YouTube out of business. It's kind of crazy.
Oh yeah, I mean, YouTube's a tough one for sure these days. I mean, I know it has its place because people will sit on their Netflix or connect the television, and I'm not one who does this, but some of my good buddies do. Like, Little D from FMF, like we'll be at his house and he'll just jump on the YouTube and we'll start searching videos, and it's quite funny some of the stuff you find there. But I feel like it's not the serious videos. Like Facebook's more for that. And we did one video. We're just testing in Barstow. I'm holding the iPhone. I take a video of the truck. Boom, put it up. We had 2.6 million views on one video.
It's nuts.
And it's just the truck kind of coming sideways and throwing dirt. Jerry Walter was driving the truck, and it was insane, right? And it was this little clip of video, 2.6 million views.
That's crazy. Hey, Jerry, we got to take a quick break, 3-minute break. We'll come back, and if you can hang out, I got lots to talk about with you on your project for 2017, buddy.
Sounds good.
All right, we'll be back after this on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When RJ Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning RZR XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris RZRs to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris RZRs RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder RJ Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris RZR vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here with my General Tire teammate Jerry Zaiden, talking a little bit of social media, kind of industry growth, and everything else. But, dude, I want to talk about your race programs for a minute because I don't know if it was yesterday or over the weekend. You put up some pictures of a nice new, I'd say, 800 horsepower Dugan's engine onto your feed, man. What's the word?
Yeah, so some exciting news for 2017 and beyond. I'm going to be racing an all-new Toyota Tacoma TRD Pro, which is their new hopped-up version of a Tacoma. Be racing that at the Mint 400s for one race there. We picked the Mint 400 because obviously best in the desert. They throw the best races out there, period. And when it comes off-road racing, very safe, very organized. And then what the Martellis have done, the Mad Media guys with the Mint 400, just on top of it, just such a fantastic race and tons of eyeballs on it. So it's going to be a fun time there. And then going back to what they call Best in the Desert, a trick truck, which is their unlimited truck. So we have two of these new Dugan 8-stack, with the Motec fuel injection and big boy motors. They're pushing 860, 880 horsepower. I think they're 474 cubic inches in a small little package there, about the size of an LS engine. And dropping that in our race truck, our new 6100 trucks are based off of our lightweight trophy truck. So we weigh in at about 5,400 pounds. And I think as a trick truck, we're going to be right about 5,600 pounds. So I think that motor is going to give us a big advantage. We're going to be lightweight and really fast.
Yeah, so tell me, as far as your chassis go, I mean, the difference in a 7,200 to a 6,100 to a trophy truck chassis. I mean, I know the engines and transmissions and stuff like that are the same, but as far as the chassis goes, what's the actual difference between the three?
Well, there's kind of that debate going on, when you listen to some of these new builders that are trying to build competitive 6,100s, they're talking lightweight and they're talking really ultra lightweight, and they're talking, smaller and more nimble, but yet there's never been a lightweight one of those trucks winning a race. So when you look at the big guys out there, you got, Geyser Brothers and Mason Motorsports and Camburg, we're the trucks winning the races. And all of us are over 5,000 pounds, and the Geyser's probably the lightest one, smaller gas tank and one spare tire. But it's quite funny because at the last Pahrump race, most of the Geysers were now holding two spare tires because they know they need that weight on the back of the truck. So, the weight keeps you on the ground. And, I talked to the Bordens. They had one of the most beautifully built lightweight trucks, and every time they get in the bumps, we'd just blow by them. We have GoPro footage after GoPro footage doing it. And they sold that truck and then themselves even admitted, we need to do something more modern. We need something heavier if we're going to compete. Our original truck that we built and raced at the 2009 Baja 1000, that was a 6,200-pound truck, and that's a truck U-Theory Racing's been racing. And that truck this year still got on the podium twice. And that just goes to show you when you have the weight, it stays on the ground. So the biggest difference chassis-wise is really just the size and the weight of the tubing these guys are using to build them. And a lot of the lighter trucks I've seen, the owners buy them. They bought light. They thought light's the way to go. And you see them making multiple changes to a vehicle, and now they have a hodgepodge of a truck where they've just strapped on a bunch of bigger, beefier parts to a lighter chassis. So I think the better, well-thought-out trucks, those are the trucks you see running up front and winning. And I see those just really with three brands right now.
Yeah, isn't that what's crazy? Because you talk motorsports and everything, whether it be motocross or NASCAR, IndyCar, everything's about weight, and people they're looking for every little ounce. And here in off-road, I would say probably the last lightweight truck that was really winning races overall was Ivan Stewart's, and we're talking 15, 16 years ago, 17 years ago it was in its prime. But that truck nowadays wouldn't even be competitive at all, because that was before, the modern, Geyser Camburg trophy truck, So,
yeah.
We're so weird that, it's the heavier trucks that are actually, you see that time and time again. Somebody builds a lightweight truck and it doesn't work for crap.
Yeah, and I wouldn't personally. I'm not going to say the heavier trucks. It's the weight that they are, right?
Yeah.
You weigh the shocks, you weigh the springs. You need to hold 110 gallons of fuel. You weigh what you need, and you come up with a weight. And you're going to see a variance of maybe 100 to 200 pounds between one truck and the other. And really, I've seen heavy trucks built. There's other trucks out there that are weighing 6,800 pounds. And then I've seen really light trucks like Dale Dondell. Like, he's built a really lightweight truck with the manual gearbox. The guy smokes everyone at qualifying. And I remember one Mint 400, he wasn't even a whole lap into the race. He was 15 minutes in the lead, right?
Yeah.
The guy could wheel the thing like no other. But I don't even think he finished one lap with that truck. And I think that's like his whole MO, right? Like, he goes out there and owns qualifying, gets that pole award, but the truck's not lasting that whole race, and is he driving it too hard and fast? Is he making mistakes? What's going on? Because he makes a beautiful truck, but is it too light? I don't know, so that's kind of the question. But when you look at the recipe that wins the race, the trucks are in that, as a trophy truck, they're in that 5,800 pound range, it's what they're weighing in at. And I think, our current truck, the components are there. The components are what they need to be. We're 74 gallons of fuel in our current truck right now, and that's one of the things that makes it, 5,700 pounds instead of 5,900 pounds.
Yeah. So, here's a question, because you guys are building some cutting-edge trucks, and, we've seen, seems like really the industry, there's been small advances. Brake technology's gotten better and things like that. Where do you see 5 years out? Right now we're kind of at a tipping point where, the all-wheel drive or the four-wheel drive stuff is kind of starting to take off, and I think we've learned that it can live. We've seen Matney's truck, and he's doing all right with it. He's not running away with races yet. But we've seen the manual gearbox. We finally got some of those that can live in a 900 horsepower engine. Where do you see this industry, at least trophy trucks, going in the next 5 years?
Well, it's always budget permitting. These four-wheel drive trucks are cool, but in reality, you're going to either lose 4 inches of wheel travel, or the truck's going to hit the ground when you bottom out. So typically the trucks with two-wheel drive, they're built, 2 to 3 inches off the ground at full bottom out. Well, to keep the same wheel travel, you're losing about 4 or 5 inches, because the axles need to go to the center of the hub, which raises the center of the hub off the A-arm. It's just the dynamic of the four-wheel drive. I would assume the prep costs are going to go up astronomically, so that's where budget's going to come in, because that front diff and those components, CVs, it's a whole nother expense, and that stuff does not live the same way as the rear end in the trophy truck. So I don't know. It's a good question. I think, the engines have come a long ways in the last 5 years. Talking to Ray Dugan or Ray Fields over at Dugan Racing Engines, the blocks, the cranks, it's almost like trophy truck is a spec class now, because, 2/3 of the field go to Ray over at Dugan's for an engine. And you got, Croyer and Patton are the other couple guys doing the engines that are winning the races. It's just on a different budget, I guess, right? Shocks have come a long ways, even though they kind of look the same. Fox is doing, their whole DSC thing with the shocks. At SEMA this year, they had some electronically controlled valving, and, there's different fluids. And so there's a lot of technology that's unseen, right? Even, how Lucas Oil's doing the engine oils and the additives and everything they're doing with their product. There's a lot of technology going to just about everything on these trucks now, but you don't really see it. It's just kind of happening, right?
Yeah.
I would say the big thing's going to be when they figure out the gearbox. We're still running a turbo 400 transmission. How old are turbo 400 transmissions?
40 years, right? 30,
yeah.
40 years.
So we have billet parts, and we have different sprags and different internals, but it's still a turbo 400 transmission. The converters, has been a lot of testing, and it just kind of, that's what racing breeds, is a reason to make change and make things better. If it's just a hobby, it just kind of stays the same, but as soon as you start racing, that's when you start really, pushing that threshold of what the parts can take, and you need to make parts better.
Yeah.
But I think when they do a manual gearbox that can shift easier, that's going to be where it's at. I think the gearbox will be the next big thing.
Yeah. So as far as you as like a company, Camburg, I mean, you guys have been pretty hot on trends. I mean, what's next for you guys? Obviously, you've got so many different markets exploding. UTV stuff is blowing up. Obviously, you guys are, 6100 class. You were there in the beginning for the blow up of that class. You guys have a pretty good idea and feel for the industry. I mean, where are we headed?
Yeah, I mean, UTV for us, it's something everyone's always asked, like, what can you do for me? Why don't you do it? We're getting into that market. My son, Zach, and Jason's son, Cody, we're going to put them in a side-by-side and get their racing career started off in one of those and see where it goes from there. If they can start doing well there and they stick with that class or move up to a 6100 or do both or whatever. But I think, for at least 3 years, I think they need to race something that's affordable and easy. And I think, when you look out there and look at that whole side-by-side market, it's not an overwhelming deal compared to a truck or a buggy, right? The speeds are there. It's competitive. There's consequence. But I don't feel it's like life-threatening consequence. And I don't think the costs associated with the UTV are quite the same as a 10-car 6100, and that's why I think that class is so big. It was funny, I was looking at the numbers and talking to Casey at Best in the Desert, and there were 81 different vehicles that raced this year in Best in the Desert in the 1900 class. 81.
That's
and
insane.
If you think about that, that's like a whole entire race for a smaller series.
Yeah, it's nuts. So so we got a couple minutes left, literally about 2 minutes left. Got a fan question. It was actually a really good one, so we're going to ask this shot over via Twitter earlier in the show. GRC fan page. I'm trying to pull it up, but basically the gist of it, are we ever going to see Jerry Zaden race short course, or is Camburg ever going to build short course trucks?
That's a very good question. It actually, short course is really more of my driving style. I've loved doing like the rally stuff. I love the graded roads. I really like the sideways thing. Right now we're so busy, we just can't do it all. I would love to do some type of Pro 2, like if Pro Light was a Pro 2 truck with an LS engine in it, and I didn't have to go spend 50 to 80 grand on an engine that could pop at any moment, I would be very, very interested in short course.
Yeah, I agree. Dude, if they could do something for
small, if
they could do something for Pro 2 like they did with Pro Light, where it's just an engine that's a spec sealed, so you don't have to worry about it. Let Pro 4 do their unlimited thing, but something that was like a 750 horsepower, 800 horsepower spec engine. Oh my gosh, man, they'd have it
or
nailed.
Even if Pro 2 is Pro 2, but then Pro Light was a Pro 2 with the spec engine in it.
Yeah.
I don't understand why, an LS3, what we've been doing in 6100 trucks, it would probably last the lifetime of the vehicle.
Yeah.
Like we'll put a whole season of desert racing, which is, 26 to 2,800 miles, including testing, versus a short course, you're only racing for maybe a half an hour. One Parker race is 9 hours.
Yeah.
That's 18 races. It's a whole season. Parker's a whole season of Lucas Oil off-road racing. So, it would be fun to do for sure. We're just too busy.
Yeah.
We have too much going on. I can't do it all.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to call in, and we'll definitely chat soon, my friend.
Awesome. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jerry.
See you later.
All
right.
Bye, guys.
We're going to take a short commercial break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
Woohoo!
now. They're giving away a total of 18 55-inch HD TVs on December 10th, 17th, and on Christmas Day.
Oh, yeah! They're giving away $5,000 in gas cards. 50 $100 gas cards will be given away, and there'll be 5 winners every half hour on Christmas Eve.
Swipe, play, win. See the club for all the December drawing times and details now.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Watch Amanda Nunes, the Lioness from Brazil, defend her bantamweight title as she battles the U.S.'s beloved rowdy Ronda Rousey. It's UFC 207 on pay-per-view December 30th in the Dig Lounge at the Blue Water Resort and Casino starting at 7 p.m. And it's free. Yes, free! Which lady will take the title of Bantamweight Champion? Watch it live for free in the Dig Lounge December 30th.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. Ready to wrap up hour number 1. And I got to tell you, it's always fun getting Jerry Zaiden on the line, Hood. He, I don't know, he's just, this funny thing is like he's not an old guy. Like he's probably the exact same age as me, I think. But he's just, his knowledge for business and everything else. And like you said, he's been in business for 20 years, but he started out when he was like 15, right?
Mm-hmm. I really love hearing, like, we had Bill Hahn on last weekend, and, I just love hearing people talk about, the evolution or, how the sport evolves and how our vehicles evolve and just how everything kind of works all together. Like, I really love hearing the non-racer side. I mean, both of them are racers and drivers, but then hearing the business side to it and the manufacturing side and, like the genius behind all of our toys that we go and have fun. Like, I would never think of things that they think of. I really like hearing their perspective. It kind of puts everything into perspective.
Yeah, definitely does. It's, I don't know. I like hearing, and that's funny because I pick Jerry's brain a lot. Like seriously, and he calls me on odds and ends too. But it's just, it's kind of one of those things. Nice to be able to pick somebody's brain who, has a couple million Facebook fans or or has built a business from the ground up, has been around the industry. Somebody you can call and say, hey, what do you think of this or what? Because he sees trends. And obviously if you've been in business 20 years and grown something like he does, you can see trends before they happen. And it's, it's such a value to be able to even just talk with somebody on air about something like that, and just listen to them talk. It's like Ken Block, he just oozes out knowledge when you get a chance to talk to him. So
exactly. Yeah, totally. And again, it's cool for not only myself, but I'm sure for our listeners just to hear that side of it. Because you usually hear about, how the race went and how this went, but, getting the opposite side of the story is really interesting as well, too. And I just don't feel like I ever, hear enough of it. I mean, how many opportunities do you get to talk about the creator of Camburg? It's cool. Or to talk to a team manager or talk to, development. It's just, it's unique. I like it.
Yep. All right, we're going to take
everything's full circle.
Yep, absolutely. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We got a Dirtfish Rally report coming at you.
Hey, I'm RJ Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, and we're going to kickstart a Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. And you're looking for a discount on some classes, maybe something for somebody at Christmas. I've got a coupon code. It's JBDirtfish. That'll net you 15% off any classes. Let me tell you, you're talking $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 classes. It's quite a chunk of change there. So, no worries. Just give me a shout on Twitter and say thank you when you book your class. I'd like to know who heads up there. But anyways, lots of rally news coming out. This past week we had Big White Rally finishing up the Canadian Rally Championship there in BC, Canada. Lots of snow. Interesting rally because not only you mix in the snow, but a lot of night stages as well. It gets interesting. But we had Antoine Lestage, who we had as a guest about 2 weeks ago. He ended up wrapping up the victory and his 9th Canadian championship. So 9-time Canadian champion Antoine Lestage. Pretty impressive. He was your winner up there. We also had some big news coming out of WRC. Sebastian Ogier looks like he signed with M Sport there in the UK. Big news because M Sport not exactly the biggest team in the paddock, and when you're the best driver in WRC, you would expect him to go to the biggest team in the paddock. He didn't. He went to one of the smaller teams, but he had a personal relationship there. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Maybe that'll slingshot them up the rankings next year. And then big news coming out today, literally just got an email from Red Bull while we were on air, but it looks like Red Bull TV will broadcast the full World Rally Championship in 2017 on Red Bull TV Live. So massive news for rally fans. Red Bull TV, they're going to have you locked and loaded with the World Rally Championship. And then Subaru Launch Control, I believe they had their last episode of the year dropping this past week. Definitely go to YouTube and look at it. It's an award-winning series from my friends at Subaru, following Subaru Rally Team USA, Travis Pastrana, David Higgins, through stage rally, and then mixing in the Rallycross program with Bucky Lassick. It's a pretty remarkable series, so you're definitely missing out if you haven't tuned into that yet. And that is your Dirtfish Rally Report for this week, brought to you by our good friends at Dirtfish Rally School. Find out more information on the web at www.dirtfish.com. Use that coupon code JBDirtfish. We're going to take a short break. We come back. We got Joe Duncan on the line here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor.
Hey, I'm R.J. Anderson, factory Polaris driver, and I drive Polaris because it's the most capable, race-ready off-road vehicle on the market.
When R.J. Anderson wanted to set a world record for the longest UTV jump in history, not once but twice, what company did he trust? Polaris and their championship-winning Razor XP1000. RJ is a UTV champion behind the wheel of Polaris vehicles, and he exclusively trusts the Polaris Razors to bring him race wins and championships against some of the toughest off-road racers in the world. The same Polaris Razors RJ has won championships in, set world records in, and conquered the Wall of Death in XP1K2 are available to you at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of world record holder R.J. Anderson and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris Razor vehicles, or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor. For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
Life is all about sound. The sound of sports. The sound at the racetrack. And the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here, waiting on Joe Duncan to call it. What's it over?
Of course we are. Of course we are. We don't like Joe Duncan.
Yeah.
If we weren't waiting, but it's usually because.
There he is. His ears are burning. He was right there. You were hearing your ears burn, Joe Duncan. We were going, we're coming back from a break, and we're like, man, we're waiting on Joe Duncan, and then all of a sudden you called in. We were waiting we've been waiting for 3 weeks for you to call in, buddy. So it's got to be some good stuff.
Yeah, we've been on the road. We've got a lot of things in the works for 2017 Terracross. I was out in California for a week and had some great meetings out there. Jeremy and some of the other crew went to a PRI show and had some great meetings down there, and starting to get things all in line for 2017. And we have razors rolling in right now. Turbos are released and they're coming in, and we're going to start prepping those turbos to have our 2017 turbo class.
Nice. Definitely looking forward to that. I got to tell you, I don't know everything about, I know, you got some mud and stuff like that, but I think you guys found the happy medium this year, with course design and stuff like that. I mean, the one there in North Carolina looked fun. I can tell you the one in Heydays, I had so much fun on that track. It was, I think you guys kind of figured things out this year, dude.
Yeah, I think, by being able to move some things that we hadn't been able to move before at Heydays, obviously we would have had even a better track at Jacksonville if we didn't have 15.5 inches of rain. But even with that, the cool thing about Polaris Razors is they can run in pretty much anything, and so can our drivers and athletes, obviously, because wow, what a show did they put on.
Yeah, except for when you lose. I don't know how many people I talked to that lost shoes in the mud, they'd step and there was a 12-inch sinkhole and they'd come up and their shoe was gone and they'd dive in the mud looking for it and, shoe was gone.
Well, if anybody has watched the last couple of shows from Jacksonville, one of the camera guys who went out to help with a razor that had rolled over. I know that doesn't ever happen in Terracross, but once in a while they roll over. and he went out to help, and he got stuck, and there was 3 people trying to get him out, and finally they pulled him, but his boot stayed in there, and that boot is still there. That boot will never come out again. That's there for good.
That's crazy. It's yeah. So we got to talk. What's that?
Have you watched the last couple of shows? Because the reviews and actually the highlight show that just aired, we got a huge compliment from CBS Sports Network, and they actually used their on-air CBS Sports Network talent to introduce the show, and they actually gave it some more re-airs above the double that we just received for all of our shows. But they just gave that one a bunch more re-airs, and it's going to air through the holiday break here. And it is pretty amazing show that they put together.
Yeah, I happen to know somebody that helped voice that, and I knew that was solid gold when we did it, Joe.
you know a guy who knows a guy?
No, I had a lot of fun. Well, it's funny because I know like Kevin Barnett, him and I, worked a little bit last year, and then this year we got into it. And like you get into a groove when you work with somebody, and you get a feel for each other. And kind of like Amy and I with the radio, we kind of know what the other's going to say, but Kevin and I are kind of that way where we kind of have a good idea what the other one's going to say or do, and we can kind of prime each other for it to say certain things,
Well, between you and Kevin, Echo and their editing, and obviously our amazing athletes and our great partners, it was one incredible show, and just really helped going into 2017 with shows and responses like that. The amount of partners and the amount of athletes we just have. Actually, I'm pretty sure as of a call a week ago, our women's class is full for 2017. We just got a call from an East Coast women's racer, and they just signed on to one of our race packages, and that's 10 women all set to go for 2017. That's pretty awesome coming into not even January 1st yet.
Yeah, that's crazy. So we gotta talk. We only got a few minutes left, Joe, but we got to talk about this weekend because we just we got Ronnie Faisst coming up here in a little bit. Interview with Ronnie, but I know he's heading out your way to do a little bit of snow bike racing this week. We got the X Games qualifier. I know you're kind of the man behind this. What do we expect? I heard over like 40 entries.
Yeah, we have over 35 signed up. 34, 35 are signed up right now. I just got off the phone with a couple of top hill climb racers and a couple of enduro cross guys that are actually have been out riding and testing, and they just packed up their stuff and they're heading to Minnesota now. We'll probably be in that 45 to 50 range of athletes competing for those, 4 to 5 spots to go to Aspen, Colorado here in January to compete in snowbike cross, the inaugural kickoff to the snowbike racing at X Games. And pretty excited. ERX Motor Park here in Minnesota, we have more snow than we know what to do with. The guys out there done just an awesome job making snow, and we got the groomers out there. I was out there the last 2 nights pushing snow around, kind of getting things ready. They have a great grassroots series here for snowmobile racing, and they're adding snow bikes to it, and that kicks off on Thursday night. And then Friday, all-day practice, noon to 6 for the snow bike guys, and it's only snow bikes for the rest of the weekend. And then Saturday, 1 to 4 is our X Games qualifying event to get those last final spots to get into X Games. And then the kicker on Saturday night is the big dash for cash for over $5,000 in cash and prizes, and then a big Monster Energy after party right there on site. And we roll into Sunday with the AMA Championship, AMA Snowbike Championship, round 1 of their point series to round out the weekend. So fun-filled, exciting weekend, lots of crazy action. And of course, you were mentioning Ronnie Faisst. Last night, I got a call at like 5 o'clock, and I'm in the groomer pushing snow, and one of the guys from Timber Sled is like, "Hey, Joe, I've got Ronnie Faisst's bike showed up. Can I bring it out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we got the cat skids through here, and we'll go, we'll unload it." And so that's sitting out in a nice heated shop waiting for Ronnie to roll in later tonight or tomorrow.
Nice. Well, and it's kind of crazy, you got a guy like Faisst, and he's having to qualify in. Like, to me, I'm like, man, this is like legit. When you got a guy like Ronnie Faisst who didn't get an automatic bid into X, that's a pretty big statement there from X Games. Like, hey, man, this is we got some legit competition. We can't just hand pick everybody.
And Joe, are you allowed to say who your front runners are? I mean, I've definitely taken a look at the lineup, and I mean, I can do the judgment based on their knowledge of snowcross and motocross, but maybe I'm completely wrong, and there's some guys that you may know that are actually, top of the top right now, because I see obviously Brock Hoyer being one of the best and maybe the guy to beat, but or obviously Ronnie Renner, but are there some other guys up there that are maybe that top 5 hands, that can take it all?
So we have 6 athletes invited right now, which is up on the X Games website, and you got Regan Sieg and Brock Hoyer, which are the kind of the innovators of snow bikes. You've got Ronnie Renner, obviously, who's been riding with those guys and really kind of made the movement for the excitement for X Games. You got Jackson Strong, who is really putting in an effort and going out and training. He gets back here, I think, this week, actually next week, and then he starts a full-on training program. We just got some big names that have gotten excited. Colton Haker's coming here. Axel Hodges is coming to Minnesota. He's already invited. He's coming here to train and test to get his timber sled machine all ready to rip. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. So the writing isn't clear in this sport yet because it's a fairly new sport. I mean, it's been around for a while, but with the big names and the big exposure and people really getting out there and training and testing and the new timber sled kits that are made for racing for the most part. So it's going to be exciting.
All right. Well, I will see you in Minnesota this weekend, Joe. We got to take a short break, but appreciate you taking the time to call in.
Sounds great. Thank you, guys. Talk to you later.
Take it easy. All right, and we'll be back after this.
I'm Polaris rider Levi LaValle, and I choose Polaris just because they have the best quality, highest performing, most fun machines out there.
Only one company has taken Levi LaValle to 10 X Games medals, snowcross championships, a double backflip, and a world record long jump of 412 feet across the San Diego Harbor on New Year's Eve, and that company is Polaris. Whether it's dominating the X Games, racing a stock Polaris RZR XP1000 in the Terracross Championship, or just hitting the trail on the weekend, for over 20 years, Levi has relied on the same quality Polaris vehicles and products you can purchase at your local Polaris dealer. Take the advice of action sports legend Levi LaValle and visit Polaris on the web at Polaris.com to see the full lineup of Polaris vehicles or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle and Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Watch Amanda Nunes, the Lioness from Brazil, defend her bantamweight title as she battles the U.S.'s beloved Rowdy Ronda Rousey. It's UFC 207 on pay-per-view December 30th in the Dig Lounge at the Blue Water Resort and Casino starting at 7 p.m. And it's free. Yes, free! Which lady will take the title of Bantamweight Champion? Watch it live for free in the Dig Lounge, December 30th.
Blue Water Resort and Casino. Right on the water, right on the money.
Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hudd here. Just got done with Joe Duncan, had Jerry Zaden on in hour number 1. Got Ronnie Faisst coming up here shortly. I don't know, just packing them in here on another week of the Down and Dirty Radio Show. Don't forget, next week we got tentatively Travis Pastrana and Ryan Turk, and I know we're going to try and slot one more big-name guest in and pack it into that show. So, I don't know, we got Pastrana, we got Turk. I don't know, what do you think, Hood? Should we get like another two-wheel somebody from the two-wheel side of things? Or?
I mean, we already got it's the best of the best into two-wheel. So, I mean, let's get somebody big. Let's see Pastrana level as well. I mean, shout out to Camburg. I don't know. Let's 6-4.
Yeah, you're cutting out a bit, Hood. I don't know what happened over the break, but your phone is like bouncing in and out or something.
Oh, it really depends on where I am in my house, so I apologize. Is it better now?
Yeah, you're like crystal clear now. It's like, man, you flipped a switch or something.
I have like a big spot, so.
Yeah. So, hey, I want to ask you about something because I really don't know what the heck to think of it. So, yeah, we'll get back to talking motorsports here in a second. But so yesterday or this weekend, so they came out. So Instagram is trying to put Snapchat out of business, right? So they start these Instagram stories, and now they've added Instagram Live, right? Which has kind of pissed me off because I'm really into Facebook Live. Facebook owns Instagram. Now they're doing Instagram Live, and I'm like, seriously, how am I supposed to do live on both? Like, I wish there was some way you could be live on Instagram and live on Facebook or something. Like, it's the same company. Like, why are they making me choose now all of a sudden, you know? But it's like, man, they really got it out for Snapchat, don't they?
I really think they're just testing the waters to see which platform is maybe the most receptive, because I honestly see going into the future, you know, there would be just one social platform that does it all, that does the Snapchat, that does the... I mean, I don't think you could ever replace Facebook, but, you know, just for the general profile and clickable links and whatnot. But I think, I mean, you know me, I hate Snapchat, but I like Instagram stories, which I know is the same thing in a way, but I don't like when people send me stuff personally, like videos or send me pictures of themselves like eating craft dinner or doing random stuff. Like, I don't care. Like, I post content to put out there for myself, like just random stuff, or for people who follow, and you know, heck, a lot of Charlie. But I like the Instagram story, but then I'm not like bombarded with people sending me snaps or stories of themselves. And I like it. Like, if I'm lazy, I don't want to go and post on one thing and then post on another and post on another. Like, I like having one platform to do everything. And I didn't actually even know about the Instagram Live thing. I have to look into that. This is the first of me hearing about it.
Yeah, it literally just dropped like yesterday or something. But I haven't done one yet because I've been doing all these Facebook Lives, and I've actually been getting really good viewership. Like, I'm doing them in the shows and around interviews and, like, unboxings at the shop and walk-arounds of razors, and I'm getting, like, 1,000 viewers tune in to these lives. So, I mean, like, I'm kind of impressed. 1,000 people, that's not bad. You know what I mean, for a live video. So I don't know, like, all of a sudden Instagram stories, now they're doing live there, and I'm like, geez, man, like, I don't know, like, there's just no way to do them all. It's kind of, I agree with you though on like Snapchat. Like I've got a Snapchat account, and it's for basically two friends that love the platform, and they send me stuff. And they basically told me the only way you're going to see our stuff is to be, so they tag me direct, so I don't have to really look. Like I've got a Snapchat, but I can't promise you if you follow me, you're not getting a follow back because I don't pay that much attention to it. Like I get people go, "How come you didn't follow me on Snapchat?" I'm like, I had no idea you followed me.
Yeah.
So
I still get people all the time telling me to add them on their Snapchat, but I don't know. I just like things simple, and I like being able to do kind of both on one platform, and it is what it is. I mean, it's just the same with Vine. Like before, you couldn't do videos on Instagram, and now Vine's basically gone, and now everyone does videos on Instagram too. Like Instagram just kind of prevails all. Like it kind of limits. It limits all the dumb ads and stuff, and it's I don't know what about Instagram makes it kind of the go-to social platform, but it is. It's prevailing amongst everything else, and that's thank goodness because I like it.
Yeah, same. Yeah, my favorite's Twitter, and that thing's just pretty much DOA.
Yeah, I don't really overly like Twitter because I don't. I like to share photos of my life, but like. What I'm thinking, and I'm not the most witty. Like I have to sit there and actually think about something. But I feel like people abuse Twitter and put so much of their personal like stuff. Like I feel the best way to represent my life and for people to really learn about me and who I am, like the best representation is Instagram. Like YouTube definitely because I can make lots of videos about your life. But Instagram, it's like short and sweet, and they get a really good, honest insight into my life, and especially with Instagram story as well, which is I know the same as Snapchat, but I actually got a message one day, and I wonder if I screenshotted it, but it really resonated with me because it's like, wow, someone actually gets it. They said that they really like looking at my Instagram, and especially my Instagram story, because like so many people set up for photo shoots and set up the camera perfectly and put on a ton of makeup to even take like Snapchat things or use the filters or whatnot, but he's like, you really I come to your page because I can honestly see what you're all about, and there's like no sugarcoating, like you're just who you are and you're not afraid to be yourself. I'm like, thanks, man, that's exactly what I'm doing. Like I love that. I like that someone actually responded to that and gets it, because I put my 100% true self out there, and I don't care who likes it or whatnot. I don't care if I have a face full of makeup or just woke up. Like I don't care. It is I am who I am, and I'm not afraid to hide it.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, with social media, too, like, I get people go, how come you don't post more? And, like, I should, I guess. But, like, it's one of those things, like you said, like, I open up Twitter, I open up Instagram, I get so pissed off. Like, I don't want to see your lunch. I don't want to see just stupid... Like, it's like some people it's stupid stuff they post, you know what I mean? And it's like, I get sick of like, if I post something, like you look at my engagement, it's really good. It's because like, it's a good post. Like I don't just throw junk up there. Like I'd rather do one post a day than, and it'd be really good than 5 posts a day that are mediocre and, just crap. Oh, look at my shoe.
Hey, stop. That's what I've been doing lately because of Charlie. And I just, I want to share her with the world, and I love her. And I did find an adoptive home for her, so I only got her for a little while longer. But, she's awesome. She's funny, and I actually get a lot of people who are like, oh, my God, your dog's so cute doing this. And I mean, I've been kind of blasting my social media with, I used to do really select posting and, the best posts and stuff. But, I mean, I save that for a good time, and I'm not afraid, though, to show the rest of my life. And and again, I don't post for other people. I post what I want for myself. And I always find that my Instagram is kind of like my photo book. Like I go through it and I kind of reminisce all the time, like funny stuff I've done, and, go throughout the years and see all my pictures. And it's more for me, I realize. Like I like to post things for myself, and something that's, either that I like about my life or that I'm reminiscing, or a good quote to, when I put a good quote out into the universe, it's not just for people. Like it's usually what I'm trying to tell myself as well. Like like something that I'm thinking about actually, like not just I think about what people are going to like. Like I just try to do my thing, and like I said, I'm just 100% myself.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Instagram, like, this new Instagram Live, like, I just popped over there. Like, seriously, we got a mass amount of FMX guys, or not FMX, but moto guys that are going live. Like, Ken Rock's in here. I see Adam Ciancerulo.
Where do you get all this Facebook Live? Where do I see it? How do I see
Malcolm Stewart's done a couple in the past couple of days. Right up on the top.
Facebook Live. How do I see it?
Oh, it's Instagram Live. So when you go into Instagram, up at the top, it shows like your story, and then it's like mine. It's got Amy Hood, Tatum Ronco, a bunch of other people, right? So right there when they're live, like on mine, nobody's live right now, but it'll say live. It'll say like live right there. It'll say like Amy Hood and it'll show live.
They didn't have to do the update.
Well, that's probably it, Dean Dong. You probably haven't updated it. That's probably the problem right there.
No, not at all. I never update my app.
Well, that's the problem. That's why you don't have Instagram Live. You're living in the Stone Age of 2 days ago.
Okay, I'll get it. I'm done.
Now, watch. And those of you tuning in live here, not listening on iTunes or after the fact, we get off the air, like, I don't know, here in about 20, 30 minutes, like, Amy will have a live going on in about a half hour. Watch. It'll be like Amy Hood Live.
I'm busy, but yeah, pretty soon.
Oh, nice. Yeah, you've been hyping up your first ever Facebook Live. Oh, we're going to do it in 3 weeks at Monster Jam. And now, like, you're going to totally, like, we'll just do Instagram Live, like, right now today. You've been hyping up the Facebook
Instagram prevails all.
Oh, man. So, I don't know what to say. We've just blown a whole segment talking about Instagram Live and stuff like that, but we are going to take a short break. We come back. I promise we're going to talk some racing. We got Ronnie Faisst calling in. Always fun with Mr. Ronnie Faisst. So that's coming up after the break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it. So when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our Razor vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of Razor vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a Razor 170 like me, take the entire family out in a Razor XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new Razor XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris Razor. Check out the full Polaris Razor lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris Razor.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
MTX Audio is the leader in sound. Whether you're looking for high-quality, all-weather motorsports audio products like soundbars, amplifiers, and speakers that will work on any UTV or motorcycle, need to dial in your car or home with high-performance audio solutions, or are looking for a new portable speaker or set of headphones, MTX Audio has what you need to get your project sounding as good as it looks. MTX Audio is a family-owned American manufacturer who has been in business for over 40 years. Check out the full line of products at mtx.com. Since 1970, KC Highlights has been designing and manufacturing performance lighting for off-road and motorsports, beginning with the legendary Daylighter up until today's revolutionary Flex, Pod, and Pro 6 lighting systems. KC Highlights offers a full line of halogen, HID, and LED lighting solutions for your off-road vehicle. Looking for the best quality lighting? Looking for the brand champions choose? You're looking for KC Highlights. Find out more information at kchighlights.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at KC Highlights.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI. A 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry, it's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. Jim Beaver, Amy Hood here. We got Ronnie Faisst on the line, getting ready to hop a flight to Minnesota to a little bit colder weather. What's happening, buddy?
Just chilling right now. Just, hanging at the airport. We're ready to board this flight here pretty soon.
Yeah. Well, since
Ronnie's heading over to my hood, so he's coming to Minnesota, that's south of Winnipeg, to race some snow bikes. But he's going to get a taste of what it's like to live in the frigid tundra. It's been a cold one up here. I hope you're ready. I hope you brought some long johns.
I brought, seriously all types of stuff because I looked at the weather and I saw everything was, negative. So I was like, man, this is serious. It's 60 right now in Cali, so it's going to be 50 degrees or more.
Here's a question.
Drop.
Here's a question for you, dude, because I know, obviously you're a dirt bike guy. Snow. I don't know if you snowboard or anything, but did you do the FMX and X Games when they did it at Winter X? There was 1 or 2 years.
Yeah, they did it. I think they did it for 3 years. 2004, 5, and 6. Yeah, so that was actually 2006 was the last year they did it, and that was actually the first X Games medal I won. I got bronze that year in best trick, so haven't been back to Winter X Games in 11 years. So I'm pretty pumped to come back.
Now, have you ever sat on a snowmobile? Because so many of my American moto friends who reside in SoCal or Florida have never even ridden a sled before.
I've never rode a snowmobile, but I have got to ride the snow bikes. I went up to Timber Sled maybe 2 weeks ago and just did a 2-day trip up there with those guys. I mean, it was a little early in the season, what they were saying, but it was still 2 foot of snow, and I was pumped. I thought it was sick. I was super pumped on it.
And how did you feel? How does it feel? Because take guys like Brock Hoyer, who have tons and tons of hours, not only professional motocross racer, but also professional snowcross racer. So, I can really see the transition from enjoying sleds and enjoying the frigid cold winter. I just, do you find your background in moto? Do you think having a little bit more background in snowmobiles would have helped, or you just kind of dove right in, love it, killed it? What's your thoughts on it? Where are you at?
Yeah, I'm like I said, I've never even been on a snowmobile, so I don't even know what they're like. But I'm sure anything you do in the snow would probably help transfer over and read in snow and all that stuff. So, but I know when I got on it, the first 15, 20 minutes felt super awkward. I was like, whoa. I'm because the front end steers different.
Yeah.
And I was kind of in shallow snow, so I felt the deeper the snow got, the better I liked riding it.
Yeah.
But for sure, if there's 15 minutes where you're okay, how does this thing turn? Because you can't. I felt like you couldn't really try to corner it in the shallow snow like a dirt bike. You kind of had to lean it more rather than get over the front end and actually turn the bars. It's more of a lean. But
definitely
the more as the day went on, within 30, 45, into the first hour, I was okay. I started to figure it out, and as we got farther up the mountain, the snow got deeper, and I just started to have more fun. And then we got in the trees, and we're just kind of full mobbing through the trees, trail ride, but in 2 foot of snow. And I was pumped. I seriously was so amped. I'm dude, I could ride this all day. I'm this is so fun.
You get to do any hits on it yet? Have you jumped it?
I jumped this one little baby little tiny thing I saw, and I mean, it wasn't nothing big or nothing, but the only thing I noticed is when you jump, the front end feels a little dead because the front wheel's not spinning.
Yeah.
Because it has a sled, so you jump, it kind of has that little dead front end feel. And like I said, it wasn't really big of a jump, so I don't really know. But I mean, at the end of the day, They're not too. I mean, they're different, but not too different. I feel like if you know how to ride a dirt bike, you could get on one and figure it out pretty quick. It's not like going from a dirt bike to a four-wheel vehicle. I feel like it's way more similar to going from a dirt bike to a snow bike.
Yeah, I know.
Because it is a dirt bike. It just got some different, it's got sleds instead of wheels, so you can figure it out pretty quick.
Yeah, I know Renner was saying when I talked with him, he was saying it's kind of the same thing as you. Like, there's a lot of guys I think that are going to go that are dirt bike guys and haven't really spent much time on a snow bike. They're just going to show up and try and qualify in. And like Renner was saying, he's like, it's something you can pick up, but he's like, man, you got to really have some time on one, at least a day or two to get accustomed to it before you go. Because he's like, it's the same, but he's like, there is a transition period, and he's like, if you're not ready to kind of figure that out, he's like, you're going to be in over your head.
Yeah, and since this is more of a race and not backcountry, I'm assuming the snow is going to be more shallow.
Yeah,
and I feel like they're more difficult to ride in the shallow snow. I feel like the deeper the snow got, I felt like I could ride it like more like a dirt bike. Like you could lay it over and the thing would just carve. But in the shallow snow, that front ski kind of wants to grab a little bit, and it doesn't want to dig in because there's no like real deep snow to dig it into. So you only can lean it so far. So I feel like racing it will be different than backcountry too. But you definitely, I wouldn't want to show up without riding one. Like I went up to Timberslip for 2 days, and I'm flying in today, and I'm planning on riding Tuesday or Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then qualifying on Saturday. So I'm planning on riding all week. That's why I was like, I'm going in early. I'm going to ride this thing as much as I can because it's similar, but it is different, like you said. Yeah. You want to put some time on it. You don't want to just show up and wing it. Yeah, like you might be able
really?
to.
I thought that's the thing that we do.
I mean, you can if you want, but I'm trying to guarantee my spot. I ain't trying to go there and like unprepared and miss out on X Games because I didn't like put any effort into it.
Yeah, well, that's like that's to me like I saw that list and then I saw you're qualifying in. I'm like, dang, like Faisst, like I kind of thought they might give you a flyer into X, man. They're making you earn it.
I know. It's all good. Like at first I was like, I'm like, shoot, I got to qualify. But then I thought about it. And I'm like, you know what? It's better that I got to qualify because I actually will get way more time on the snow bike. Like most of the guys that are already in, I'm sure like they'll probably go ride one between now and X Games. But I'm like, I actually get to spend 3 days, 4 or 5, or whatever this trip is, 4 days on snow bikes and I get some races under my belt. So I was like, you know what? It is what it is. It's actually probably better in the big picture.
Yeah. Are you doing just the qualifier, or are you doing like the AMA round after that?
I think I'm just doing the X Games qualifier. That's it.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't. How's it work? I mean, I was seeing there's like a ton of guys trying to qualify in. How many are they taking? Do you know the way this format's going to even work? I'm announcing the thing, and I don't even know.
I heard they're only taking like 5 guys.
Really?
And there's like 40 guys invited or coming, so it's going to be pretty tough from what I think.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes and only 5 spots. And I don't know how the brackets go. I don't know if they qualify, like if there's heats that go to a main. I don't know how it's going to work, but they got to figure out how to go from 40 down to a main and pick 5. So I'm sure there'll probably be heats where maybe top 2 come out of each heat, and then they bring it into a main, and then they'll bring the top 5 out of the main. That's what I'm assuming. But they said only 5 spots.
Wow.
Wow, that's insane.
There's 6 seeded right now that were, picked, and then they're going to qualify 5 out of the 40, and then I think they're voting in another 5 after qualifying, so that's where they'll get their 16.
Okay. So
then there's two wild cards.
Yeah. So is there a chance that maybe Ronnie Faisst has a bad day, but you can still get in with the votes, or is
I think that's why it's like that. Say like if Twitch comes out and bike breaks and he doesn't get to qualify in the top 5, X Games still wants to have an opportunity to put in some of the guys that they want there. So I think that's why they did it that way.
Yeah. I've heard all kinds of crazy
Now, I
names
haven't
being
yet
tossed around.
seen the lineup, but is there any girls lined up for the professional I'm guessing there's obviously one class and there's not going to be a women's is there going to be a women's division qualifying into X Games, Jim? Do you know? Because I do know of one girl who is pretty darn gnarly on a snow bike, Megan Griffith. She actually went over to Europe and she competed in that big enduro race and she finished 3rd.
Yeah.
and she's insane. And I saw her training on a snow bike, and I would not doubt if she could line up with the guys and smoke over half of them.
What I understand. From what I understand, and is I talked with Jolene Van Vliet, and she was telling me that she had talked with, I don't know if it was X Games or Joe or somebody behind the scenes. Basically, year one, they're just kicking this thing off to see how it goes. If it goes over well, year two, they're bringing in the ladies, and they'll have their own division and their own medals and everything.
That makes sense.
So they don't want to have like this big build-up with all these divisions, and then for some odd reason it just is horrible to watch on TV or something like that. So this is kind of the trial year.
The girls will race the guys this year. If it does well, they'll break it off and do their own.
Yeah, because I know she was talking about getting a timber sled on her dirt bike and start training this winter so she could possibly do X Games next winter, something like that. So
yeah,
cool. So I mean, other than that, what have you been up to, dude? You guys went out on that big Rockstar Razor run, right? How was that?
Yeah, that was super fun. Yeah, we went out to Fort Irwin and we drove from Razors from Fort Irwin Army Base all the way to the state line, which was took us 10 hours because all the people got flats. And then we spent the night and drove back in the morning. I think we made it back in 8 hours. It's still a long drive, but it was super fun. Just really, really dusty though. You had to put super big gaps in between you and the guy in front of you so you could actually see, but it was still super fun. And then we got to kick it with all the soldiers, and they did a military appreciation day. Husker Barnum was there. Obviously, Rockstar put the whole thing together, and all their athletes were out there signing autographs, hanging out with the troops. And they kind of even before that, they let us do a kind of a day in the life of how they train.
Yeah.
So they took us through their they call it a half Murph, with it's some of their basic training exercises, and they timed us. So it was 100 push-ups, 200 squats, 50 pull-ups, a mile run, and then you had to run a mile, do all the push-ups and pull-ups and squats, and then another mile run, and they would time you and see how fast you could do it, and then trained us in the way they clear a city and stuff, and it was cool. It was basically you realize how intensive guys' jobs are, and kind of gives you a whole new respect for our military and stuff. So it was cool.
Yeah, you're a guy who is in shape. You're at the gym all the time doing martial arts and stuff like that. How did you hang, man?
I did good. I got second out of everybody. Just one dude beat me. He was obviously in the military. He was big though, super yoked. He got he did it in 17 minutes. I was 19, so he was 2 minutes faster than me.
Wow.
But he was serious looking, dude. He looked like a football player.
Wow, not a guy you want to mess with, huh?
No, 6'3", just yoked.
Nice.
But no, it's good. How's the Monster Jam stuff?
It's awesome. I mean, I got 3 weeks here before the kickoff in Nashville. And for those listening in, I don't know if you know, but my good buddy Ronnie Faisst has been coming actually down to Paxton, testing and training too. I know you kind of been jumping in the seat wanting to be a driver as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I had a chance to drive. I don't know if it might have been a year and a half ago now.
Yeah,
but I went out to. It was a while ago. Yeah, but it was fun. I got to go out to that little training camp and air it out for a little bit, and so yeah, no, it's fun. I saw you got
insane wipeout. That's all I hear. I heard that Ronnie Faisst came and burnt that thing to the ground, balls to the wall, typical, freestyle, fearless. And it's funny because so many of the moto people actually come and always have some epic story of breaking the truck or crashing. It's pretty funny, and I kind of did the same thing.
Yeah, I rolled it when I was there. I was going for it. But, dude, how hard do those things land compared to what you would think? Don't they land way harder? They land way harder than you think.
Oh, definitely. And because when you have been down and when you go to test, you actually drive in a bucket seat. So you don't actually drive in your custom seat that's fully fitted to your body. So when you're landing on the frame, it's definitely, it kind of rings your bell a little bit, hurts your butt, rings your bell.
It's way aggressive compared to what I was thinking.
Oh, totally. Same thing. That's exactly what Ryan Beach said as well. Too. We were all like, oh my gosh, is this what we're in store for? But no, once you actually get your custom seat, it's a lot different and it's a lot smoother of a ride. So.
Yeah, you fit to it. Well, hey, this plane's about to.
All right, buddy.
My group's about to board up.
All right, man.
I'll see you guys out there.
Take it easy.
All right, and that was Ronnie Faisst, and we are going to take a short break here on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. I'm Polaris rider Jim Beaver. I race trophy trucks professionally, host a Down and Dirty radio show, and also travel the country announcing motorsports events. I've seen it all, and trust me, I've done most of it, so when it comes time to relax on the weekend, nothing is better than taking time with my family in our RZR vehicles. They've got the reliability I need to just pick up and go explore the desert, dunes, or trail, and have the capability to attack even the harshest terrain. If you're looking for some of the most reliable and safest, and hands down most capable off-road machines in the world, look no further than Polaris and their award-winning lineup of RZR vehicles. Whether you want your daughter to experience off-road driving for the first time in a RZR 170 like me, take the entire family out in a RZR XP4 1000 on the weekend, or shred the desert and dunes in the all-new RZR XP 1000 Fox Edition, Polaris has you handled. Take my advice and join me and some of the best drivers in the world by driving a Polaris RZR. Check out the full Polaris RZR lineup at Polaris.com or follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Polaris RZR.
The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, a 268 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine, rockets the WRX around corners and down straightaways. A race-ready 305 horsepower turbocharged Subaru Boxer engine keeps the WRX STI a rally legend. The Subaru WRX and WRX STI, it's not a sibling rivalry. It's a tag team. Get the latest from Subaru Rally Team USA at Subaru.com/rally.
Life is all about sound, the sound of sports, the sound at the racetrack, and the sound of your vehicle. Don't drive around listening to this. Drive around listening to the sound of performance. Gibson Performance. Gibson Performance Exhaust is the company who can turn this into this. Remember that life is all about sound, and Gibson Exhaust is the sound of performance. Check out your next catback exhaust system, headers, muffler, or UTV exhaust at GibsonPerformance.com and get more power and more sound.
For 100 years, General Tire has provided tires for your lifestyle, your adventure, your anywhere. Born from competition, the Grabber tire offers the durability and off-road traction you demand in a tire. We put these tires to the test in the harshest off-road racing conditions to give you a tire that will make your anywhere possible. So let us take you on your next big adventure. Tweet us photos at General Tire, hashtag anywhere is possible. Because with General Tire, anywhere is possible. Looking to have some fun on four wheels? Dirtfish Rally School has you covered. Packing as much adrenaline and adventure as you can handle into high-performance all-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive Subaru rally cars is where the fun begins at Dirtfish. Just 30 minutes outside of Seattle in Snoqualmie, you'll get a chance to train up to 3 full days with some of the country's best instructors and be put through the high-octane rush of rally on mud, dirt, and tarmac. Get started today and call 425-888-7715 or visit us online at dirtfish.com and use code 911 for a 15% discount. Welcome back to the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris RZR. Man, been a fun one today. Catching up with my good friend Ronnie Faisst, Jerry Zaiden from Camburg, and man, a whole lot more. It's definitely a good day to be on air, and man, been sliding in some Facebook Lives, while we're doing it as well. So it's always fun, man. Catch you guys off guard and throwing a Facebook Live while I'm live on the radio show. So definitely, if you guys been missing those, skip over there to Facebook Live, check them out. We're doing a bunch of them, kind of brings you behind the scenes and what I'm doing in my life. So kind of fun to share those with you guys. Also, Project Action, please go rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Download that Podcast One app. Tune in every Thursday. We got new ones dropping. Also Down and Dirty Show. Thank you guys for, all the support here. And, give me a follow at JimBeaver15 on Instagram and Twitter. Amy is at AmyHood71. And you can get all those back episodes everywhere I mentioned just before. Got to thank Polaris Razor, General Tire, Subaru, Casey Highlights, Gibson Exhaust, Dirtfish, MTX, Impact, Terracross, Blue Otter Resort, and Casino for all the support. Upcoming events, man, it is Jump Champs this weekend if you're in SoCal. Snowcross is on tap, I believe, in Colorado. We got the Snow Bike Qualifier coming up from Elk River, Minnesota. Don't forget, I'll be trying to do some live streaming up there. Be following my social media accounts. We'll definitely have all kinds of news and info coming out of that event up there. It's going to be epic. It's going to be epically good stuff. So thanks to all of you guys. Be safe. And we will see you next week. Hopefully we've got an anniversary show with Travis Pastrana and Ryan Turk coming at you on the Down and Dirty Radio Show, powered by Polaris Razor. As always, game on.